It's all about the grilled cheese today. We've got plant-based grilled cheese and we've got Joe's grilled cheese. And yes, this is a very simple cheese sauce I made. Join us in a few. Hello, welcome to One Dish, Two Ways. I'm Sheila and my husband Joe is behind the camera. And our One Dish, Two Ways is I eat as close to whole food plant-based as I can to cure my migraines, which is working. And Joe eats a standard American diet. So we show people that it's really not that hard to eat dually in a household, because we know that multiple people do it with various diets out there in the world. So today is about grilled cheese. Yes, Sheila, you don't eat cheese. How are you going to do this? Well, that's the first thing I'm going to show you, is how to make a cheese sauce. If you Google vegan cheese sauces, there is a plethora. And I am not going to invent a cheese sauce when there's lots of people out there who have great recipes. So today, I have in previous episodes show you how I use the Well Your World cheese sauce mix. But today I thought I would show one more of a start to finish. And today I'm using the Minimalist Baker, her recipe. So I will put that in the description, and I'm just going off script slightly. So what I did before we came on camera is you put 2/3 cup of raw cashews. So I have raw cashews here. They cannot be roasted, salted. They are a little bit hard to find, but a lot of times if you go to your grocery store and in the bulk food area is where you can find the raw cashews. And they will say raw cashews. I just keep them in this airtight container, and I just use them sporadically because they are very high in fat. And since I still have a lot of weight to lose, I don't do this often. And I'll just use a little bit of this cheese sauce as, because it's going to make more than the one sandwich. The other thing, a lot of cheese sauces use carrots and potatoes as the base. This one just uses carrots, and you cut the carrots very thin, and then they soak too. So I have a tea kettle, an electric tea kettle, and I boiled the water, and then I put the hot water. She said hot water, so I did the boiling water, and it's been over that for 30 minutes. That's the minimum that you do. And then you drain. This is the carrots, how thin I did them. And then you are going to add that to your high-speed blender with some other ingredients. So you take 1 cup of water, which I have here, and we're going to add these items, but you don't use the water that you soaked it in. She clearly said that, so I'm not going to do that. But now we've got to add our flavorings to it and how it's going to get cheesy. So let's start with an odd ingredient that you may be like, she's using ground turmeric, and I know why she's doing that. It's for the color, but turmeric is very good. It's very anti-inflammatory for you. So it's only 1/4 teaspoon. Now, that's an acquired taste. So if that's not your jam, don't worry about it. It's okay. But we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of it. And if you have ever done any research about turmeric, you know that for it to be activated and really help your system, it needs a little bit of black pepper to do that. So that's where I'm going off of script, and I'm just going to add a little bit of black pepper to help with that turmeric absorption into our bodies. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of, I think it's a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. So, and I don't mind doing a heaping teaspoon of that. And next we need 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. My guess is you could probably switch out the vinegar, but you might not want to on this particular recipe, just because that apple cider vinegar, it has its own twang to it compared to other vinegars, in my opinion. Like balsamics to me are very sweet compared to an apple cider vinegar. So I would definitely try to use that, or maybe white vinegar if you don't have apple cider vinegar. Then she wants you to use 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. That's going to give you that cheesy flavor. And I've said this before in our videos. That was a very much acquired taste for me. Like, it did not wow me from the beginning. It's like cilantro. You got to use a little till you know you like it. So 3 tablespoons of that. And then she also says to add dry mustard. I don't have any dry mustard, so I'm just going to add a squirt of mustard I have. And I love this sweet and hot mustard. And so I'm going to add a squirt of that, and that'll give that cheese sauce a little bit more tang. Okay, there we go. And then you've got to do something to bind all this together to give it that cheesy pullness, for lack of a better term. And how she's doing that, and how a lot of recipes do that, is they use tapioca starch, also known as tapioca flour. And you see that it says that on there. And we're going to need 1/4 cup of that. So I'm going to put that in here. It wasn't quite 1/4 cup, so I need to add a little bit more. And then I'm going to take this over to the high-speed blender and blend this up until it's smooth. And then I'm going to put it in a pot. And she says to cook it for 1 or 2 minutes. I'm sure it's to activate that tapioca starch. So we will pause the camera and I'll go over and get this. And I'll let you know I have a Ninja. And I'll tell you how long it took it to get to smooth. Welcome back. So as you can see, it's all blended. It took 2 35-second cycles on the puree to get that done. But you see it's pretty watery, and we need that to get more of a spreadable texture. So I've got just put my pot on. I did try it because she did say in the recipe to give it a try and make sure you didn't need to add more vinegar, add more nutritional yeast, And if this is the first time you've ever made cheese sauce, you're not really going to know. It's not going to be cheese. So don't go into it thinking that. But there are ways to make a suitable substitute. So we just need to cook this for 1 to 2 minutes. I've got it on a medium heat just so that we can get it to that spreadable, more cheese texture. Because like right now, that's not going to go on my sandwich very well at all. And when I looked up vegan grilled cheese, you can use, Daiya has cheese, Miyoka's has a cheese. I haven't found one that... To me, they have an aftertaste. And so I've not done that. I use the Well Your World a lot. Maybe I'll try to grab that before we come on when we serve everything. But yeah, I don't do this a lot, especially because of the cashews, and they're so high in fat, and I just have so much weight to lose. But it is sometimes nice to have a treat. And Joe made the comment. He was like, well, I'm kind of craving grilled cheese. He goes, can you make an equivalent for you? And I was like, yeah, I can serve. Google has a lot of things. Just Google it. Plus, I have lots of cookbooks and magazines, so I just started looking, and I was able to. Now, see, you can tell this is already starting to thicken up. So that didn't take long at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn it off and let it just sit here while I talk about Joe's grilled cheese. And then I'll spread this on my bread. And I will talk about my bread. I'm using Ezekial bread. This is found in the freezer section. It doesn't have oil. Dave's Killer Bread is another one a lot of people use, but I think they now put a little oil in theirs. I will tell you that these are in the freezer section, and I do leave mine in the freezer, and I just get out a couple pieces and let them, warm up on the counter because there's no preservatives in it. The life of it is, if you left it on the counter, you'd have to eat it all within a couple of days. So unless you got a big family, that's why I buy it that way and do it that way. So let's get this off. So Joe wanted to amp his up a little bit, and instead of doing the standard grilled cheese. So he actually wants pepperoni, mozzarella cheese. Can you see this okay? Or do you need me to move it? Okay. And some thinly sliced onions. So before we came on camera, I did a very poorly job. The butter was not spreading, but it will spread once it gets, he's looking at me like in disbelief that I did that. It will spread fine. So we're going to put these down. He's already got the griddle on for us. And I'm going to start putting his ingredients on. So we got sliced mozzarella at the store. And how many pieces do you want, babe?
2 on each.
Okay. So I'm going to put the pepperoni in between. And then he also wanted some thinly sliced onions. That beeper is his side dish, is the air fryer. So, because we do have sides planned for both of us. And not just chips. You might think it's a sandwich. Are you going to have chips? No, we're not going to have chips. So, yes. So we're going to put the pepperoni, which was good because I had pepperoni. So when he came up with this idea, I was like, well, that's perfect because I have some in there for you. And he wanted some thinly sliced onions. They're not cooked. They're raw. I just thinly sliced them. Oop, oop. Oh, I got it on there. Look at that. Talent sometimes. And then he wants another piece of cheese. You could do this. I told him you could also use garlic bread as your bread, but the garlic bread he had in the freezer was super thick and he didn't like that idea.
Put the bacon on there?
Oh, I forgot. That's right. He said he wanted bacon. It's a good thing he's here to remind me of what I'm supposed to be doing. So he just wants a few of these bacon crumbles on it. Is that good, babe?
Spread them out.
Well, I get there. I'm checking about the amount first.
That's plenty.
Okay. I would call this meat lovers grilled cheese is what I would call this. And then always make sure you put your, match your sides up. And then you're going to let it grill on each side. And actually, do you want to just squish it over? There you go. Let that do its thing while I make my sandwich. I know we got quite the stuff over here today. Some recipes require a little bit more of the ingredients and things like that. So now this is, look at that. It's thickened up into spreadable cheese. I'm so excited about this. So I'm just going to spread it on. You could add a myriad of ingredients on here, but I just want a standard old grilled cheese. And she did say in the recipe, so if you're like me and you're the only person in the household who eats this way, that you could freeze this for up to a month, which is what I might do, is freeze it into smaller portions, because then I could use it for chili mac or broccoli and cheese or whatever I wanted to. It'll keep in the fridge too. And I will probably do the same thing. Is there room if we scoochie yours over? I know there's a little bit of butter on there, but that shouldn't be too bad. There you go. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so we're going to let those griddle. And the reason I thought about, we hadn't planned on that, but if by putting the compressed on it, because he has so much in his, I think it will actually help melt all those things together. You could do it the other way, but then what you might want to do is, we have one of these that we keep in the house. So sometimes when Joe is like cooking his eggs or something, you put this on it and it helps it steam without you having to flip it. And that's what you might have to do because of how much ingredients are on the sandwich. And you want them to get cheesy all the way through. So I would guess those are going to need to be on there for about 5 to 8 minutes. And then we will bring them off, show you what they look like. But by then we'll have the side dishes that we're going to serve with them ready to go. So we'll see you in just a minute. Welcome back. So Joe had to take his off because they started like gooeying everywhere. Like it got juice, melty and everything. So he took his off, 2 minutes ago? And then we just opened this up. Look at mine. Look at the gorgeousness of that. So I'm going to I'll flip it for you so you can see. Beautiful. So let's turn this off and then move it so we can show them my side. Okay, so my side is my newest obsession. I discovered this recipe from Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior from Jane and Ann Esselstyn. And so I just made a couple of adaptations on it. But it's roasted broccoli, but they said you could use everything but the bagel seasoning if you didn't have their 4 or 5 ingredients to add to it. And then to wet the broccoli, you use a little bit of tamari or soy sauce and then a little bit of water, and then it sticks to it. Now, technically, I could add a piece of this. I could dip into the cheese sauce over there. Oh, but anyway, it's super good. You can come on camera? Maybe I talked enough that we won't burn our mouths on cheese. So look at mine. Oh, you gonna show yours?
The cheese oozed out and got all crispy on the bottom. It's gonna be perfect.
So I could have added more cheese, but I knew it was just gonna fall out, so I didn't see a reason to do that.
So mine's like a pizza grilled cheese with the pepperoni and mozzarella.
I love the bread. No, that's not super dense, but
Still hot.
this is really good. Some toppings, roasted red peppers, some spinach in here. You could really amp this up and make it like so much. But I'll be honest with you, I'm probably going to eat all this pepperoni or all this broccoli to go with it because this broccoli is phenomenal. So, and Joe's got tater tots with it. So let us know in the comments, what would be your grilled cheese topping? Or are you just American and bread, which is fine too, but we want to know what your thoughts are in the comments. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week on One Dish, Two Ways.